Thank goodness most of our meetings are mundane. You have minutes that you review. If it's a formal meeting, you have reports that people give in informal meetings, updates, and they pretty much go on time. But occasionally there's a policy issue, a budget issue, a programming issue where there's much more disagreement. In fact, it can get pretty heated sometime. So, what do you do? Well, one of the things that I've discovered is the last word. I was reading a book about anger management and discovered I've been caught doing the last word. That's when you try and get in one more point, the last argument. Just listen to me one more time. Hear this out. Hear me out. All those kinds of things. So, what can you do if you've got a heated debate going on? Well, you've probably put into best practice that your meeting is from 10 to 12, or if it's a board meeting, 7 to 9. And maybe you've even gone to the step of identifying about how many minutes each item on the agenda will take. Well, that's actually going to make your last word people try even harder to get the last word because they know there's a finite ending to your meeting or there's a finite time for your discussion of a policy. And so you'll need to figure out what you can do. Well, having had the experience of trying to get in the last word, and it's very unsatisfying. So the person that's angry or argumentative is not necessarily happy when they win. In fact, they know that they haven't won. There's been no agreement. There's been no compromise even. And the other person is much dissatisfied because they've tuned out. So one of the things you could do perhaps that might help is go back to the traditional way of putting information on the flip chart or the whiteboard, whatever you have in the room, and asking the person uh, if you've got it right. So to parrot what they've said. So do I have it correct, what you're trying to say to us? And put it on the whiteboard or the flip chart. And then to the other person who is in the midst of this argument, go ahead and do the same. Now, you may not have resolved the argument at that point in your meeting and it may go over to the next meeting, but you can start again because you've got that flip chart or whiteboard that tells you exactly the points that they're trying to make. Well, thanks for listening, and I hope you don't have too many last word arguments.